Hello. If you visited before, thanks for coming back. If you're new here, welcome. Check out my challenge show to get acquainted. My name is Pierre-Antoine, and today we're gonna talk about the basics of storage. In this video, we'll talk about what your storage area should look like, how to handle rotation, and special item storage. Storage starts when receiving ingredients, packaging, or cleaning products, continues through production, and ends with final product storage, usually awaiting distribution. Storage should have a designated area in your facility that's easy to access. You want to keep your final product separate from your raw ingredients as much as possible to avoid cross-contamination. This applies to cold storage too. You don't want to put your final product in the same fridge or freezer as your raw ingredients. If you just have one area for cold storage and you need to put everything in the same fridge or freezer, then make sure they're in separate sections with as much separation between the areas as possible. Also, there should be a minimum of 6 inches between your bottom shelf and the floor for cold storage and non-cold storage. You can use skids or pallets, which are easy to move, or have your bottom shelf be 6 inches from the ground. Keeping that clearance at the bottom does two things. It makes it easier to clean the floor and the storage area, and it makes it harder for pests to access the stored food. Now let's talk about rotation. When you receive ingredients, it's best practice to do rotation with your older ingredients in storage. There are two main options for this. First in, first out, or FIFO, and first expired, first out, or FEFO. First in, first out is recommended by the FDA's food code. If you're using FIFO, make sure that anything you receive that's newer goes behind or below the stack of ingredients that you have already. That way, what you received first gets used first. The other method, first expired, first out, is useful when you get one delivery with multiple production dates or expiry dates. You'll store the later expiry date behind or below the more quickly approaching date. Cold storage also has some rules that need to be followed for storage. Store the least risky items at the top and the most risky items at the bottom. Organizing cold storage this way prevents more risky items from leaking onto less risky items. More specifically, from top to bottom, it is ready to eat, seafood, cuts of meats except poultry, ground meat, and poultry at the bottom. Keep things in order, and that way if your very dangerous chicken leaks, you'll only have the bottom shelf and the floor to clean. Now there are two categories that require special consideration when it comes to storage: allergens and chemicals. First, let's talk about the special consideration concerning allergens. Unless it's an allergen that's used in every part of your production process, every time you receive an allergen, it needs to be placed in a specially designated area. It should be stored away from other ingredients that are used in products that do not contain that allergen. Next, let's talk about the special considerations around chemicals. When I talk about chemicals, I mean your cleaning products, any food additives that are dangerous at high concentrations, or any other chemical that has whichever use in your facility. Any leak of these chemicals can be disastrous if it comes in contact with ingredients or final product. Chemicals should be kept separate from the rest of the storage, and it is best practice to keep them locked up in something like a cage or a locker. And remember your 6 inches of floor clearance? Well, it will help with chemical leaks as well. Next, let's discuss the concept of a hold area. It's highly recommended to have an area that's called a hold area, where you can put products that are in transition but not acceptable. For example, if you hear about one of your ingredients being subject to a recall, you can put all of the ingredient you have in stock that's affected by the recall in the hold area. You should keep that ingredient in the hold area until you contact the manufacturer, find out what happened, see if you can get a refund, figure out what you do with the product, etc. Keeping recalled or unacceptable items in a hold area prevents your staff from using it while you're determining what to do with it. A final note on storage: Never put items in the way of the water and or gas mains or electrical panels. Even if you have a lot of stuff to place and a limited space, you cannot compromise these areas. And now you know the basics of storage for your food safety program. You can minimize risks further down the line by defining and maintaining strong storage procedures. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.